YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your week 3 start and sit video. This is going to be quarterback position. Hopefully you guys had a victory this past weekend and maybe have a nice 2-0 start. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys are checking out our waiver wire video. Make sure you guys check that out because we've got a lot of players you should be talking about, and even one player that unfortunately will have to go after, Jerome Ford, because of what happened with Nick Chubb, and that was not mentioned in the video when I recorded it, so I do apologize, but Jerome Ford is definitely someone you're going to have to grab just because of what happened to Chubb, and hopefully he gets better and does come back because it was pretty severe. Now, this is quarterback. We're going to talk week 3 starts. We're going to talk about the obviously start, sits, and sleepers. So these are the obvious quarterbacks you should be starting this week. There's not many. The quarterback position's been a little tough. For example, Trevor Lawrence had a pretty good matchup, struggled, missed a lot of opportunities in the red zone. I don't have Burrow in here. If you guys can see, he's got the injury. There's some uncertainty if he's going to even play this upcoming week. So I don't have him on there. There's a couple different players that might shock you, but these are your obvious that I believe still should be in your lineups playing this week. Now, the first quarterback I'm going to mention as a start is Kirk Cousins versus the Chargers. Cousins has another great matchup. I recommended him last week, and he performed well against the Eagles, putting up over 34 points in fantasy, 364 yards, and 4 passing touchdowns. Chargers have allowed an average of 26 points to QBs and allowing 3.5 touchdowns a game. This is definitely a game that it's going to be high scoring, not a lot of defense. Cousins has done really well this season so far. Had again, great matchup last week, and he's got a really good matchup this one. So I'm going to put Kirk Cousins in my lineup again. Now, another quarterback I'm going to start this week is going to be Matthew Stafford versus the Bengals. Stafford didn't have a great game statistically last week, but was up against a great defense in the 49ers. This matchup is a lot better than the Bengals, where they're allowing 21 points to quarterbacks and 1.5 touchdowns a game. I will give the Bengals credit. They're only allowing 195 yards in the passing game. But I think with Stafford finding his new Cooper Kupp and Nakua, and the newly RB1 and Kyron Williams, who had a fantastic game last week, I like this matchup. I think this is going to be a game that I think Stafford has a pretty good one. I don't think he's going to be amazing. I think he's going to get to that 18, maybe 20 point range, but I think more like 18. So I like him this week. Another quarterback I like this week is going to be Dak Prescott versus the Cardinals. Dak, against a very tough Jets defense, played outstanding, putting up 21 points with 2 touchdowns and over 250 yards. This is not the Jets. This is the Cardinals that are allowing 23 points to quarterbacks and almost 300 yards in the air. The only concern that I have with Dak Prescott, and this is kind of a little bit of an asterisk, like week 1, if the Cowboys are up big, there's a good chance this offense slows down. They run the ball, short throws, safe throws, and Dak doesn't put up the crazy fantasy numbers. I did not expect him to put up a lot of numbers against the Jets last week. I had him as a sit. I'm glad he performed well, especially as a Cowboy fan, but just in general, because again, I did expect the Jets to lose and Cowboys to be up. So I expected the game plan to change, and I have a feeling it could possibly happen, but I think the Cardinals actually are going to allow this to be a little bit closer. And I wouldn't say closer. Let me just rephrase it. They're going to allow it where Dak will have a solid offensive scheme, probably in the first 2 to 3 quarters, if this game does get pretty crazy. And then, of course, at the end, calming it down. But I like Dak this week. Now, as far as sits go, Daniel Jones versus the 49ers. Like the Cowboys defense, 49ers are just as good and disruptive, meaning Danny Dimes should be a sit this week. 49ers are only allowing 11 points to quarterbacks and creating 2 interceptions a game as well. The offensive line is struggling for the Giants, and then now there is no Barkley. He's missing 2 to 3 weeks possibly. This is going to be a rough one. 49ers are too good on defense. It's a Thursday night game. Daniel Jones, you are sitting this week. Now, another quarterback I'm sitting is Justin Fields versus the Chiefs. Fields at this point should go to waivers. I know he was drafted high in a lot of leagues, and this offense has played poorly. Even myself thought at least Fields was going to have his running ability to still make up for the passing side, and having DJ Moore, which DJ Moore played really well and had a great game. But the quarterback runs aren't there. Fields seems to not want to run like last year. He's also struggling reading defenses and putting himself in position, and he's holding the ball way too long. Chiefs actually have been pretty good as a defensive team to start the year, only allowing 11 points to quarterbacks at this moment. Tough matchup. Fields, you are sitting. Now, another quarterback I'm considering to sit is Deshaun Watson versus the Titans. Titans are above just a bit above average against the pass. But Watson looked average as well against the Steelers. He had several turnovers. There were definitely some miscues, overthrows. He didn't play his best game. He did run a little bit more, which I was glad to see because I think that's something he needs to do. But losing Chubb in this game is huge. And now, realistically, defenses only have to focus on Watson. Now, Jerome Ford had a pretty good game against the Steelers in that backup role and kind of filling in, but he's not Nick Chubb. So I am curious how this is going to play out. Now, Titans do allow 300 yards a game in the air, but only 1 touchdown a game. So there's a chance that maybe Watson can come up with something, but I'm not trusting him this week. Now, my sleeper for the week is Russell Wilson versus the Dolphins. Russ had a really good fantasy game this past Sunday. He had 26 points, threw for over 300 yards, and had 3 passing touchdowns. Having Judy back helped for sure. That is huge. I'm still unsure how this offense will play out. I do worry there's a lot of uncertainty, and also what running back is going to finally take over because Javonte and P. Ryan just not playing well at all. Like, they're just struggling. But the Dolphins aren't great against the pass, so I think this is going to be a game that Russ will still have a pretty good game. Again, I'm not expecting 26 points, but I am expecting a good 18 to 20-point game, kind of like I do with Matthew Stafford. So I like Russell Wilson as a nice little sleeper this week. So those are my start and sits for week 3 at the quarterback position. If you guys, again, do have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. I'd love to help you guys out with your lineup questions. Maybe you have trade questions. Maybe you have waiver wire questions. Again, hit me up in the comments down below. Make sure you guys do check out our waiver wire video. And of course, make sure you guys are subscribed. We're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark. You guys have been amazing. And on top of that, you guys are subscribed and notifications are on because we're going to be dropping start and sits and waivers all season long to get you guys in a good position to win this season. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you guys hit the like button. It's greatly appreciated. Share this with your friends and league mates if you'd like. Again, spread the word. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, check out that waiver wire video, and I'll check you guys out next time.